Hello and welcome, and thank you for joining us on this candidate forum. This is one of several conversations between the candidates running for a seat on the KPFT local station board. My name is Tim Langford. I'm with the League of Women Voters of the Houston area, and I'm your host and moderator for this program. KPFT is a listener-sponsored radio station, one of 5 stations that make up the Pacifica radio network, the country's first and only independent national radio network. Now, the views expressed during this program are those of the candidates, not of KPFT or the League of Women Voters, and the League's participation in this should not be seen as an endorsement for any candidate or cause. Now, we'll go to the ground rules real quick. Candidates are seated in the order that they will be asked the questions, starting with candidate number 1 on my left. We will go round robin style until everyone has had a chance to answer at least one question each. Each candidate will have 2 minutes to answer the question that is posed to them, 30 seconds for the response from the other candidates, and then the original candidate will have up to 2 minutes to respond to that feedback. All right? So does everyone understand and agree to the ground rules?
Yes.
All right. I'm so happy that you all could be with me today. So I'm going to start with Rick here to my left.
I'm Rick Pothoff.
Yes, I'm sorry, you get your opening statement.
Yeah,
first, yes.
I'm Rick Pothoff. I'm currently on the LSB, which my term expires in November of this year, I believe, or is it December, whatever. And I'm running for the LSB again, and I've been listening to KPFT ever since he came on the air in 1970, and in fact, I was collecting money for it in my high school, Springwoods High School, and I've got several interesting conversations. One of them was this guy who was obviously very conservative, and he said that he wasn't going to give money to a station that bombed itself off the air. And but anyway, like I said, I've been with since the year 2000. I've been off and on the local station board.
I'm going to stop you right there, and we'll get a chance for you to add some more to that at the end in your closing statement.
Oh, okay.
Next person up is Robert Gartner. He has 1 minute to make his opening statement.
Good evening. Yeah, my name is Robert Gartner. I'm running for re-election to the local station board of KPFT. I served practically a 3-year term prior to this, in which I learned much about the operations of the board that we have as part of the Pacifica network that has overview and certain responsibilities with the radio station. I too, like Rick, have been listening since the day practically that the station went on the air, having carried groceries out for 2 of the founding board members, Saul and Thelma Meltzer. This was back in 1970. So I'm glad to be here tonight, and I hope that we'll answer all your questions to your satisfaction.
Okay. And the next person we have is Vaneicia Williams. You have 1 minute for your opening statement.
Hello, I'm Vaneicia Williams. I am currently on the LSB. I'm up for re-election to the board. I have been a career broadcaster since my freshman year in college. Besides serving on the LSB, I also freelance all over the world.
Is that it?
That's it.
Okay, just wanted to make sure. Ted Weisgal is another board member currently and is running for another seat. You have 1 minute
No,
for
I
your
don't think
opening
he
response.
No, I'm not.
Okay,
This is Ted
sorry, my
Weisgal. I
apologies.
am not currently a board member. I had my term lapsed, and you have to sit out at a certain point in time, and I've sat out this past year. I have served as chair of the local station board a couple of times. I was involved in writing the bylaws for the Pacifica Foundation back in 2000. I've served as the parliamentarian for the Pacifica National Board. I also had a career running Leisure Learning Unlimited and prior to that I was a campus activities advisor at the University of Houston.
Okay. All right. And our next candidate for local station board is Paula Miller. You have 1 minute.
Good afternoon. First of all, thank you, Women League voters, for allowing me to be here in this opportunity to be a part of the candidate forum. My name is Paula Miller. I am a new candidate running for a position on the LSB board. Currently, I hold a bachelor's degree in business administration, a master's in public administration with a concentration of public policy, and I'm currently working on my doctorate in organizational leadership. I look forward to being a part of this board and helping it to grow in the direction in which it has been set forth to grow.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. We'll get into the question and answer portion of it now. The questions are being chosen at random by me as we sit here. All the candidates have been provided the questions beforehand, but they do not know which order they will be asked. Rick, you're the first one up for the first question. I'm going to ask you this. According to Pacifica bylaws, one of the duties of the local station board is to, quote, work with station management to ensure that station policies and procedures for making programming decisions and for program evaluation are working in a fair, collaborative, and respectful manner to provide quality programming. Do you think that KPFT's policies and procedures, as they are now, make for making programming decisions and evaluation are working in that fair, collaborative, and respectful manner?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Would you like to expand on that and talk some more about that, or?
Well, basically, I don't know. The LSB doesn't set shows, doesn't bring shows on. I mean, that's the job of the station manager and the program director, if we ever have another program director. But it should also be if KPFT ever decides to have a programming council, it would also be the job of the programming council to see about getting new shows on. Okay. You know what the LSB's job is basically we sit there and we see if the general manager is doing his job and getting good programs and trying to make sure that Pacifica KPFT fulfills the Pacifica mission.
Okay. And you have 30 seconds to respond.
Thank you. Not to disparage management severely, I don't think that the programming efforts are doing well. Part of the conflict there is that the interim manager is also the interim program director, and the LSB has apparently failed to establish a committee. But the atmosphere to me is somewhat stifling, and all these decisions are basically being made in private and in secret at the management level, and it's tragic. We've lost some critically important shows, other shows that have been fired from.
Sorry, I'll have to stop you right there. I've lost track of time. That was my fault. Vaneicia, you have 30 seconds as well.
Programming is one of those areas that needs to be worked on, and the basic problem right now is, as Bob just said, we need a permanent program director. And until we get that, the program is going to be wonky, for a better word, until that permanent person is in place. We haven't had a permanent person in, over a year? It's probably been longer than that, but I know at least a year we haven't had one.
Okay. Ted?
Rick has 2 minutes to respond to what I'm about to say. He opened by saying, yes, the LSB does, and then he said, we don't, through all of his examples. So he has 2 minutes to tell us any example, and I don't know of any in the last 18 years, where the local station board has played a role in collaborating with management to determine programming decisions.
Okay. Paula, you have 30 seconds to respond.
If we are sitting at the position now that we don't have a programmer, that is something we definitely need to look at getting set into place, seeing how we can get a programmer in and what needs to be done to make sure that we maintain a programmer and make sure that the operation continues to run smoothly.
Okay. And Rick, you have 2 minutes to respond to the feedback.
Okay. Don't listen to him. No, I don't know. I guess Ted and I disagree. He wants to be a little bit more hands-on than I think is the proper for an LSB member or for the local station board. But you're right. Ultimately, we have to, if we think that the general manager or the program director aren't doing their job, which right now it's just the general manager because of monetary constraints. We don't have the money to hire a program director. The LSB can fire him, but we have to get approval from either the executive director or a majority of the Pacifica National Board to do that. And I guess that I've just run out of things to say.
Okay, that's fair. All right, we'll go on to question number 2, and this is going to be for Mr. Gartner. Robert, I'm going to piggyback on what the discussion just now was about programming. What is your understanding of independent journalism, and do you think the rules around independent journalism require that the local station board remain out of editorial decisions about news reporting?
That question is a bit confusing to me.
I guess generally, should the board have any say in the editorial decisions of the news division? Not necessarily programming, but the news division.
Well, I didn't take it that it was related to the news division as such, as a specific part of programming for the station. It's a fine line. There has been programming which basically constitutes news, where a telephone call between the manager and a programmer was aired. Some condemned that, and some thought that was healthy. It would have been nice to have that considered or discussed prior to its airing, but the public has a right to know, and our station portends to be one where we are open, and we should be open to criticism, and criticism of an airing should be available. We had an open journal show that has basically been changed, where there isn't quite the freedom and openness that there was. So it's an area, I think, that is part of the Pacifica's mission and critically important, and it is something that we really should have a good understanding about it. I think it is a critical issue because it's right there on that fine line.
Okay. Vaneicia, you have 30 seconds to respond.
On a day-to-day basis, the LSB should not be involved in the running of the station. That's what the program director is for, the news director, because you asked about news reporting, because we used to have a news director as well, which we don't have anymore either. But I feel like the LSB's job is to oversee the entire operations of the station.
Okay.
I would like to see the local station board add editorials, air editorials on positions that we maintain. I think that responsible parties from other sides in the community should be given an opportunity to rebut what we are saying. I think it would be good programming, and I think it would increase our listenership.
Okay. Paula, what about you?
As far as journalism for myself, I think that it should be a free and safe environment for the journalism to be able to seek out and search while he's pursuing his position.
Okay. All right. And Robert, you have 2 minutes to respond to what you've... Oh, I'm sorry. You have 30 seconds to respond. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to skip over you. You have 30 seconds to respond.
Oh, gee, my mind just went blank. No, let's see. The LSB should keep a hands off on the news show, on the investigative reporters, but I don't know. If we do have a position, if they, if they start getting harassment from like the general manager or the program director.
Okay. And Robert, you have 2 minutes to respond to what you've heard.
I like Vaneicia and Ted's responses. I had thought earlier myself that the board shouldn't be directly involved in this, but we do have actually one of our 3 responsibilities is to review the management. So I think that there should be a place to take this, just like the Chronicle has an editorial column in its newspaper, and if in an open and healthy atmosphere, I think the board could collaborate happily with management. But it's a management programming decision.
Okay. All right. Next question, we'll go to Vaneicia. Your question is this, about policy development. What areas of policy do you think are in need of development, and what will you prioritize to improve station operations functionality?
The first thing that I would prioritize is that we have to get our staff together. When I came on the LSB 3 years ago, we did have a news director, we did have a programming director, we did have a general manager. Right now, we have we have an acting program director who is the acting general manager, and we have no news director. So without those things, which are critical in the operation of a radio station, we're functioning, yes we are, but we're not functioning at that 100% to me that we should be doing. Now, the other thing that comes across is where we're going to get the money from. Okay, we got to go out and raise the money. But how do we raise the money? Of course we have members, but how do we get new members? You have to go out to every area of the city and every ethnic group in the city and say, this is who we are, and explain our platform and explain why we need them.
Okay. And Ted, you have 30 seconds.
I agree with that. What I would add to it is that we need to let the community come into the radio station. We need to open our airwaves and allow progressive organizations especially to be able to have airtime and to let their membership know that they are going to be on the radio so that they are more inclined towards contributing to our radio station.
Okay. And Paula, what do you think?
Yes, I definitely agree with what Ms. Vaneicia stated. We do need to be a little bit more visible in the community so that people can see who we are and what we do. And also speak with them to find out what are some of their interests that they have as far as us continue to be more in tune to them. So therefore, seek out to the community, ask what it is that they're looking for so that we can be a little bit more responsive to them as well.
Okay. And for you, sir?
Yes, I agree with what Ted and Pamela were saying. Paula, excuse me. What Ted and Paula were saying is that we need to definitely let the public know that KPFT exists, which we basically, I think it comes down to is we need to start, putting up buying billboards to, let people know we're there. Maybe get a commercial on like the cable channel. Okay. People won't pay. People won't come to our station if they don't know we're there.
Okay, I'm gonna have to stop you right there. I'll give you 30 seconds too, Mr. Gartner.
Thank you. Yes, there's a lot of talk about community at the station, and so it can be like a church there, and provide for community with open doors, and it almost seems like it's been operating in reverse.
Okay. And Vaneicia, you have 2 minutes to respond.
He said something that takes me back to the United Methodist Church. I'm a United Methodist. But the theme of the United Methodist Church is open doors, open minds, open hearts. So basically, when you were saying open doors and you said the same thing, when you said it, it came to me: open doors, open minds, open hearts. And I think that that's the key to us. We have to enlarge in our listener base, because we are supported by the listeners. Now, yes, we do get grants and stuff, money from other places, but the bulk of who we are as a radio station is supported by the individual person that listens to our radio station. And a lot of people out there don't know who we are. A lot of people do, but a lot of people don't. And once we get that together, but we're going to have to do that. We're going to have to do that parallel. We can't just wait to raise money and then get the staff up and running. We have to, do that parallel, and we have to go out and ask people to donate money to us.
Okay. All right. And next question will go to Ted. In your opinion, how healthy or unhealthy is KPFT financially? And describe in a nutshell the financial problems and how you propose to address and resolve some of those issues.
Well, it's actually a misnomer to talk about KPFT without talking about the Pacifica Foundation. We are a part of a network that has 5 stations across the United States, and the financial woes that occur in New York or Washington, D.C., or Los Angeles or Berkeley affect what we do here. And Pacifica's woes are great. Some people estimate, and others say this is not true, because Amy Goodman and Democracy Now! Have said we're taking a pass on the $2 million that Pacifica owes them, but some people say that we're $8 million in the hole, and we have a loan right now that is on the verge of having to be repaid, and we may not make it unless we do something significant about it. We have archives. They are located at the Los Angeles radio station. That is a gem I don't think we can sell or divest in any way. We have property. The property in Los Angeles is worth millions. It's about a mile or two from the Hollywood Bowl. It's in central Los Angeles. We could possibly sell property and move to less expensive quarters. But we have one other option that this local board should have weighed in on, since we have representatives on the Pacifica National Board. And that was an opportunity to work out an agreement with the Metropolitan Neighborhood Network in New York City. We didn't ever get the full idea behind that proposal, which was to give them the opportunity to run our radio station in New York for 7 years and then to get it back. But during that time to get lots of money, which would have conceivably saved us from the distress that we're in right now.
Okay, I'm going to have to stop you right there with that. Paula, you have 30 seconds to respond.
Okay. In listening to Ted, I can't call really what the financial debt or the situation is with KPFT, because again, I am very new to coming onto this board. So therefore, I would just like to look at some of the financial issues that are going on, as he stated, about property and things of that sort. A lot of the boards that I have served on, they have not been in a financial situation like this. So I would like to go in and take a look at some of the data, what they actually have there, and see how I can help alleviate a lot of the problems and debt that may be sitting there that may not be in use.
Okay. Go to you next.
Let's see, what Ted was talking about was that Pacifica ended up getting a loan from a bunch of rich people in California to pay off a debt for the transmitter. I think it was that's in the New York Empire State Building. But like he says, we have, well, let's see, it's something like about $9 million that is the loan that we have to pay off.
Okay. I have to stop you right there. Sorry.
Okay.
I'll let you finish your thought, but go ahead. Finish your thought, and then we'll go. Okay, you're done. Okay, we'll go to you next, Mr. Gartner.
I couldn't agree more with what Mr. Weisgal has said, and but my particular take on it, and I think a lot of the listeners that remain, and we've lost listeners, we've continued to lose listeners, that they're tired of hearing about this, and I certainly am. But it seems that Pacifica is going around in circles, discussing the same things for 5 years now. And to me, it's about dysfunction in the family.
Okay. I'm going to stop you right there. Vaneicia, you have 30 seconds.
The situation is that we have to pay off the loans. And from my training and my background in PBS, you have to go to the individuals with the big bucks. That's a networking thing. That's not it's just a networking thing. And once we do that and pay off the loan, I think everything will be okay.
Okay. Mr. Weisgal, you have a chance to respond to what you've just heard.
I thank everybody. It seems like there's agreement. What I would like to say is that in order to get these financial obstacles under control, I think we have to go back to the question having to do with policy development. We haven't developed a strategic plan since 2007. When we developed one in 2007, we never implemented it. We need the community to be involved in developing that strategic plan. It shouldn't just be the 24 members of the local station board. We also should use what is mandated in the bylaws. I think it's 2, but some people say it's 1 town hall meeting annually. I think even if it's mandated as 1, I'm sure we can do more than 1 town hall meeting annually where we ask listeners for their ideas on how we can solve these problems. We also have an entity separate from the board that is open to the community called a Community Advisory Board. We could use their advice on how we go about rectifying the financial woes that we are facing.
Okay. All right. And question number 5, we'll go to you, Paula. Your question is about the underrepresented communities that KPFT is supposed to do outreach towards. How would you reach out to some of the what does that mean to you? What does underrepresented communities mean to you? And how would you reach out to those communities to make them part of the conversation around KPFT?
Basically, speaking of unrepresented communities, is just as it stated, communities that are not aware as to what's going on with KPFT. So in order to reach those communities, you're going to have to be out there in the spotlight. It's going to take marketing. It's going to take hitting the pavement, knocking on doors. It's going to take marketing materials. And also, as stated earlier, it's going to also take putting up billboards, letting people know who you are, what we're all about. Getting information from them, seeing what it is that they like, how we can be diversified within our organization, being transparency, just getting more information from the community to make our organization thrive and grow to the best of its ability. That's what KPFT was put here for, so we need to go ahead and do what is called to be done as far as making sure that we're representing the organization to the best of our ability and also at the same time reaching the needs of the community and the people.
Okay. And you have 30 seconds to respond to that.
Okay, well, I pretty much agree with what Paula has said, and I reiterate that to reach out to the community, first we have to let them know the community that KPFT exists. So I'd say that we need more billboard. Well, we need billboards. We probably need ads on buses. We need TV ads on the cable channel.
Okay. And Robert?
We're losing essential programming that addresses this, I think. For one, we lost the ecology program. The environment, we've ignored the environment for practically forever. The planet reflects that. I'm a biologist. I can speak to you all day long about the needs the planet has, homelessness and addiction in this city, and other such things. Those are communities issues either related to human beings or entities unto themselves, such as nature.
Okay.
I agree with everything Paula had to say. Right, 100% on point. One of the things that without spilling what it is, I think that we should have partnerships. For example, there's a high school that has a school of communications that has a radio station, which has a radio station more state of the art than KPFT. We need to partner with them. They can simulcast their radio stuff, which is teenagers, on our radio station, which brings in a whole different audience.
Okay. Ted?
Most of the community is underrepresented on KPFT. We have maybe 3 shows that involve outside groups, so everybody's underrepresented. I am involved in the community. On Friday, I was with the Innovation Corridor Rotaract Club that is talking about the possible displacement of homeless people in that section of Houston. I work with the HISD Student Congress. I work with the DeBakey High School Interact Club, and I don't have time to list the many other groups that I am affiliated with. You put me on the board, I will be interacting with the community, but the question is, will the general manager embrace them? I hope so.
Okay. And Paula, you have 2 minutes to respond to all that you've heard.
I basically agree with everything that everyone has stated here at the table. We need to be more visible in the community. It takes putting out billboards, it takes knocking on doors. It also takes more marketing material to let people know who we are, what we're about, and where we are and what we stand for. Again, we need to be more visible out to the community, as far as especially with the young people, because that is where our society is going. And if we could reach more of our young people, I think we will have a better KPFT radio station.
Okay. And we've come to the end of our I've gotten to everybody, right? Everybody has been asked
Yes.
one question? Is that correct? I got, okay. Just wanted to make sure I got to everybody. So we're going to end this portion of the Q&A, and we'll give each of you up to a minute to make some closing statements. We're going to pause, let you gather your thoughts, and when you're ready, you can begin. Just let me know when you're ready.
So,
Okay, I guess I'll give it a shot. Let's see, I'm Rick Pothoff. I'm a current member of the LSB, and I'm asking people to vote for me again. I've been listening to KPFT since 1970, and since 2000, I've been very active in. I've been active in rewriting the bylaws of Pacifica, and I've also been on and off of the local station board, and I want to see KPFT and Pacifica to continue because I believe they're a very good media jewel in Houston, in the U.S.
All right. And Robert, you get 1 minute whenever you're ready.
is this our closing statement?
Yes.
Yes, it is.
My name is Robert Gartner. Please elect me to the 2019 KPFT Local Station Board as your listener representative. Your choice of me, in my opinion, is an excellent one. I've done service on the board as a staff representative. In that term, I learned much. I served on 6 committees, among them managers, evaluation and selection, and finance, 2 critical areas. I've been your eyes and ears of your station on a daily basis for 13 years. I understand the needs of KPFT, I think, and it has it has needs for a return to vitality. Again, I'm Robert Gartner. Please make me your number 1 choice. Thank you.
Okay. And Vaneicia, whenever you're ready, you have 1 minute.
Hi, I'm Vaneicia Williams. 3 years ago, I came to you asking you to vote me onto this board, and you did, because I did not know anyone to reach out to say, vote for me, because I was the new kid on the block. you did that, and I want to say thank you for that. And I've tried to be true to you putting me in this position by fighting the good fight with all of the resources that are at my disposal. And I'm just asking you to re-elect me for my second term to continue what I started. Thanks a lot.
All right.
Here.
And Ted, you have a minute.
Hi, I'm Ted Weisgal. The voting members of the local station board and the one non-voting member of the board, the GM, can't do this alone. I'm running once again for a seat on this board to open doors. From day one, that was my priority. Unfortunately, except for elections, LSB members' voices are limited to what the GM allows on the air. I want to be involved in the process of hiring a permanent general manager who's eager for community involvement. I was naive when I first got involved in KPFT. I thought listener involvement was a given. I hope my experience, my support of the Pacifica bylaws, my advocacy for peace and social justice, and my desire to see KPFT flourish is worthy of your first place vote. I'm Ted Weisgal.
All right. Thank you so much. And Paula, you have 1 minute to make your case.
Thank you again for allowing me the opportunity to be here. I have been vetted by Move Forward KPFT. I look forward to being a part of this organization. I expect to come in and do everything that my listeners is expecting for me to do. I would like to be your eyes and your ears in the community so that we can move forward with this organization and helping it to grow and prosper in the direction in which it should go. Thank you so much. Again, my name is Paula Miller, and I look forward to being a part of this board and helping it to move forward.
Well, thank you all so much for joining us today. I hope you've enjoyed the conversation. If you would like to learn more or watch these programs in this series, you can go to kpft.org, and they'll be available for you there. Ballots will be sent out to all KPFT listener members on August 15th, and they need to be returned by October 15th. And if you'd like to know more about the KPFT election, you can go to elections.pacifica.org. Thank you for joining me on this program. I'm Tim Langford with the League of Women Voters. To learn more about the League of Women Voters, visit www.lwvhouston.org. Thank you.